Yo, what's up, geeks? We got a lot to talk about. Cling, cling, cling. I saw Straight Outta Compton. I loved it. Thought it was great. Thought it was some great storytelling. Directed by F. Gary Gray, who also produced great hood classics like Friday. He also did great movies like The Italian Job, Law Abiding Citizen. Pretty good director. Basically, the plot of the movie is watching NWA become NWA. But then the movie also shifts into watching NWA not become NWA. The rise and the fall of NWA. But I mean, if you want to call it a fall, it's not really a fall. It was more of a relationship breakup in that way. The movie starts off with Eazy-E, and the movie technically ends with Eazy-E's end. Goes through the timeline about 1986 to 1995. Compared to most bioflicks, this is not that big of a timeline. The pros of this movie is very great acting, very great directing. You can feel the authenticity in this movie, and of course, the music. The music is awesome, and the music is also a character in this movie. Also, it talks to a lot of social injustice and racism. That is another character in this movie. Basically, you see it from their mindset. You can understand why they have a song called F the Police. You can understand why they have a song about being straight out of Compton. You can understand why Ice Cube has a chip on his shoulder, why Eazy-E is still such a thug, why Dr. Dre is so much into his music in every level. The movie primarily focuses on Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, and Eazy-E. But if you really look at this movie deeper, it's actually an Eazy-E movie. I mean, it is focusing on all of them as a collective, and you see them actually grow up and change as a collective. But MC Ren, he doesn't get too much shine in this movie. And also DJ Yella, not too much shine in this movie. They're really just there. It's really about those three, and then those three, it all boils down to Eazy-E's story. You really see what was going on because it goes into the details between Eazy-E and his manager, who is technically the villain of this movie, which is Jerry Heller, who basically screws NWA in the end because they have no idea how the music business works, so they sign anything and they do anything, you know? Unless it's Ice Cube. Not trying to spoil it, not trying to spoil it. I love the way that they show that it is about race and it is about more than just these guys being gangsters or thugs or just rapping because they're just mad at the world. There's a reason for it. There's a reason that they're that mad at the world. Hell, I'm mad at the world too. Quick sidebar, they had extra security at movie theaters for this movie because apparently in such an upwarring movie they're gonna start rioting if they watch this movie. Let me tell you something. The only death in this movie is Eazy-E. There's no killing in this movie. There's a few guns and there's a few cops and harassment, and there's no killing in this movie. And they're over here talking about, oh, we have to up security. This movie is inspiring. It has nothing to do with tearing up the streets and rioting and nothing of that nature. That is also social injustice, and that's racism. If you don't like it, I'm gonna tell you just like NWA. If you don't like it, then hey, that's your own problem. But it's the truth. Now, here are some of the cons of this movie. The pacing of this movie did have me a little lost because for a movie that only goes through about 9 years, 1986 to about 95, for a movie that only focuses on 9 years, it feels like they jump from spot to spot a little too much. Didn't feel right in certain ways. You were just kind of like, okay, I need to know more of the why. I need to understand more of the how. It's just kind of, the things just kind of happen. Whole movie scale, you could say, okay, yeah, this movie is trying to say certain things. They're trying to prove certain things. But it's like, it's one thing if I say something, but then I don't explain it. This movie's definitely saying things. I get it as a young black youth, but I don't think everybody else will get it to the extent that I got it. But honestly, those are my two biggest problems with the movie. This movie gets 4.5 geeks out of 5. It's really good, man. That's my best movie score yet. If you love NWA, you love good hip hop, this movie is for you, man. Don't forget to check out the Silliphyl show Tuesday nights at 10 Eastern Time. Follow me on Twitter at Silliphyl, at Silliphyl Geeked Up TV on Instagram. If you like what you see, please subscribe. I would love to keep making these videos for you guys so we can be fans together and interact in this world together. Bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Y'all have a good night, good day, good evening. Wham.